All right. Good evening, everyone. Things have ramped up here just a tad the last few minutes. We have a tornado warning for eastern Denton and western Collin County. And don't know of anything on the ground, but wanted to go ahead and come on and talk about this. So, this storm has really ramped up the last few scans. Again, don't see anything that's on the ground, but if you do live anywhere along Highway 380, that would be Prosper, Frisco, Little Elm, McKinney on the far eastern end, even Fairview, Allen, the Colony, you are all in the tornado polygon. So it's definitely something that you want to keep an eye on very, very closely. So, with that, let's kind of talk about it a little bit. Let's put this in motion here. So, when this storm was going through Denton, it wasn't even severe warned, which, of course, these storms can go crazy pretty quick, and that's what's going on here. They upgraded the severe thunderstorm warning initially for the initial warning was 60-mile-an-hour winds. Then they upgraded the warning to 70-mile-an-hour winds, and then, of course, they got the tornado warning. I don't see anything, any kind of reports that are on the ground. We do see this hail signature starting to increase a little bit. So Crossroads is here, Oak Point. Again, for reference, Prosper. So definitely watch this really closely if you live in Prosper or even Frisco on the end. But let's go to velocity. Yeah, okay. I can see why they issued a tornado warning for it. This is the area of concern right there. And again, it's a little hard to see, but this is Frisco. This is McKinney. This is the Colony. This is Prosper. So if in Little Elm, so Little Elm is probably in the most direct path. Certainly Oak Point is really, really close. So if you know anybody, especially if it's you, but if you know anybody that lives in that area, just make sure you tell them if they don't know. It's getting rather late on a Sunday night. A lot of people are getting ready to go to bed to go to work the next morning. Make sure that you tell them in case they don't know. Anybody within that polygon, if you know somebody, give them a text, call them, and say, "Hey, got a tornado warning. I don't see anything that's confirmed on the ground." But yeah, we definitely bears watching. Hey, James, any hell in Saxe? I sure hope not. This storm will probably most likely pass to the north of Saxe. We can broaden it out a little bit. Saxe being, well, doesn't want to behave. Saxe being right there. And we'll put this in motion. So, like I said, this storm wasn't much. I mean, it's a lot of rain. They had still have a flash flood warning for Denton County initially. Then they had a severe thunderstorm warning. Then they upgraded to a tornado warning. That's why I popped on real quick. I again looking at some reports. I don't see. Let's see if they report anything. Da, 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 da. I've seen no reports of anything on the ground, so that is good. Hello, Kim. Princeton. Right now, you're okay. Just to give you a little reference, Kim. Princeton's right there. We'll put this on velocity, and that's here is this tightening of the rotation. So now again, it's moving this way. So nothing to be certainly nothing to panic about yet, but definitely keep an eye on it. You're right outside the polygon, so you're not too far away from it, and we'll see what the weather service does with this. It all depends on how this rotation ramps up. Hopefully, it'll ramp down. Let's get rid of that. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit more here. So green is going toward the radar. The radar site's in Fort Worth, so red's going away from the site. So that's why you see, this is, it's going like this. So it's a pretty, pretty, it's tighter than it. Well, obviously it was tight enough to issue a tornado warning. Where these red and greens come together right there, that's where the most likely location of a tornado would be. So it's something that we definitely want to watch out for. if you're in that area. Like I said, I haven't seen anything on the ground at all. Any reports, I should say, anything on the ground. So that's good. But something definitely to watch. So again, if you're just joining us, tornado warning for eastern Denton County and western Collin County until 10:15. The Weather Service issued this warning at about 9:36. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Moving east at 30 miles an hour. Not in addition to a tornado, you could see some quarter-size hail. Hopefully, that will not get any bigger. But like I said, this storm's ramped up quite a bit the last few scans, unfortunately. But again, I don't see anything on the ground. All right, so. Oh, hey, Yolanda. Oh, my gosh. I didn't know your daughter was in Little Elm. Taking cover. That's good. Yolanda, as I was mentioning, I haven't seen any reports of anything on the ground, so that's good. But yeah, tell her definitely take shelter till the storm passes. And if she's in Little Elm, it's not quite there yet. Although the radar scans are a little bit behind real time. So obviously, this circulation, even though it's showing right here, it's probably over here now. And once you get another radar scan, we'll know. Looking at spotter reports, circulation is right over Little Elm, moving east. Will approach the Dallas North Tollway shortly to south of Highway 380. Okay. So we don't have another radar scan. Another thing we can look at is the correlation coefficient. I didn't expect to see anything. And what you look for, and I know this is a really messy picture, but Little Elm's right here. So what you would be concerned about is if this was a big blue splotch right in the middle of this red. And so what correlation coefficient does is it measures different objects in the atmosphere. So anything that's the same, like rain and hail, liquid stuff, that's where the red and purples come in. But if you had a blue spot in the middle, blue splotch, I guess you could say, in the middle of all that red, that means that would be debris, things like that. You don't see any of that, so that's good. All right, so let's look at hail real quick. Yeah, I got some reds in there. Again, that's not the entire. That's not even. It's probably 1 inch in diameter, maybe. Quarter size hail. Not that that's anything to mess around with. It's just not too big, which is good. So let's go back to velocity. And okay, so the circulation looks like it is. It's definitely a little weaker, but that's where the red and greens come together. Little Elm is right here. Let me see here. Let me make sure I keep up with the comments here. Let's see. All right. Jessica, is Allen in the path? It is. That's a little kind of a little bit of a loaded question. Allen's right here. I don't know which part of Allen you live in. Allen's a big city. Let's put this in motion. So it depends on where the circulation goes, because the thing you have to remember about these storms that have these circulations is that they don't always just go in a straight path the whole time. Sometimes they'll dissipate, reform south, reform north. Let me get rid of that clutter. And so it is something that you just got to watch. Again, Allen's within the polygon, so it's something that we just gotta watch out for. I don't know. Just no need to take shelter at this point, but definitely something you want to watch. Let's see. Karis actually should be good. From this storm, yes. I don't see anything that's going to make it beeline to the southeast. Let's put the reflectivity back on here. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Let's put this in motion. Let's do this. All right. So again, this storm was just kind of meandering along, and then all of a sudden it just decided to get nasty for some reason. So you could see the general motion of the storm. It was sort of, motion was, well, if I could get that, it was going like this, and now it's kind of done this. That's not atypical at all. And to answer Kara's question, I don't see it diving like that. Now, can it? It can. Hopefully it will not. All right, so that is kind of the bigger picture. You're welcome, Nicole. No problem. Jessica, southeast of Stacy Road, east of 75. Right now, you're okay. Let me kind of zoom in on this a little bit. All right, so just to give you a reference, this is McKinney, downtown McKinney. So 121, this is 380, 75, the tollway, or um, 121, I guess, Sam Houston, or Sam Rayburn. So, yeah, I mean, if you're in that area, you definitely just want to keep an eye out on things and definitely be ready to take shelter if you need to. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Blake, capping's too strong for most of the Metroplex. Yeah, I think so. I was thinking it as this storm was in Denton. I was thinking a cap would kind of do a number on it too. It apparently the storm says I don't really care about the cap. Although I do still think though the further east it goes, it should weaken. It doesn't mean it's going to, but it should. Of course, I don't even think people thought it was going to do this, so that's got to keep that in mind too. Uh, yeah, okay, that's where your 17-year-old is, Jessica. Okay, yeah, I would be anxious too. Not to panic about, but I would definitely be watching and just watch it. All right, so let's go back to reflectivity. Excuse me, velocity here. All right, so not a whole lot of change, and again, this frame is probably a little old. The radar is always behind a little bit. But again, what you want to watch for is you want to watch for these reds and greens getting really tight next to each other, and we don't see that. I mean, they're closed. Obviously, that's why they issued the warning. The circulation is probably still aloft, and it's kind of goes back and forth. I haven't seen anything that's been really strong, which is good. I mean, obviously, it's something to keep in mind that it could it could definitely ramp up or it could ramp totally down. All right, so let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Jessica. All right, so let's just reset for just a second. Let's put a little bit broader view out here. Okay, so this is the velocity scan and kind of gives you a little bit bigger picture with the Metroplex. So Fort Worth, just give you a reference, Dallas, Saxe, Garland, Rowlett, if you will. And if you put this in motion, again, not much going on when it went over Denton, but then just when it got east of there, it definitely started to misbehave a little bit. It hasn't really gotten too organized in my take on the radar, but huh? I'm live right now. Okay. Well, okay. Sorry, got cat issues. All right. Let's see. All right. Give me just a second. Okay, I'm back. All right. So again, if you're just joining us, uh, tornado warning for eastern Denton, western Collin County. The circulation is, and again, this radar frame is probably a little old. I'll update it here in just a second. I think they just updated the warning. Let me see what they did. Maybe they did. Okay, yeah. Okay, no, nothing underground. At 9:49, which is a little bit ago, the circulation was still over Little Elm. Quarter-size hail is also possible. And all right, there's this new scan right there. All right. So, okay, so it's a little tighter right there. Nothing, nothing terribly, tight to where I think something was on the ground. But again, it's just something you want to watch out for. And of course, a lot of this clutter is really crazy. So I apologize about that, but that's the radar. I'm going to see if I can put another product up here. I don't know if this will be any better. Let's see. No, not really. Okay, so we'll put this in motion here. Hey, Teresa, the cat feels a storm coming. Yeah, he probably does. Although, boy, I hope they don't know something I don't. In other words, I don't want this coming toward. I don't want this coming toward anybody, but especially toward Saxy or anybody, like I said. All right, so we kind of put this velocity scan in motion, and it's it doesn't look all that impressive, which is good. I mean, you don't want these really tight. And another thing we look for too is, again, the general motion is like this. Of course, tornadoes are just really concentrated areas of low pressure, so the wind spins counterclockwise around areas of low pressure. So that's why you get that spin there. But it's not very tight. It's broadened out a little bit, so that's definitely good news. But the other thing that we have to remember is, even though there's not a tornado on the ground, you do see some wind velocities here, and 40. And this is a lot, by the way, because remember, the radar's in Fort Worth, and this is a beam that's shooting about 5,000-6,000 feet above the ground right now. So it's not necessarily measuring winds at the surface. It's just that there's some wind with this, that's for sure. Now, is it tornadic circulation on the ground? Not at the moment. I haven't seen anything that has indicated that. But looking at storm reports and things like that. Let me check some more here. So if you do live in Frisco, McKinney, Allen, your phones may be going off for tornado warning, which it should, because you're within the polygon. Something to take very seriously, obviously. The other thing is, even though we haven't gotten any reports of tornadoes on the ground, we do have a lot of wind with this. So there's been some reports of some power flashes in that area. I don't know that that's necessarily from a tornado on the ground, but it's from these very intense winds on the ground, which are straight line winds. Haven't seen any reports of damage or anything, but we do get indications, looking at some spotter reports, we do get some indications that we could have some 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this particular storm. So even though it's not a tornado, 80-mile-an-hour winds can still do some damage. So that's something else to keep in mind. But the circulation is broad, which is good. Again, what we're looking for is where these red and greens come together. And what would be really concerning is if this was really bright green here and really bright red there. That would be very concerning. You don't see that. But what you do see, like I mentioned, is you get these brighter colors here and some brighter colors there. That could be some strong winds at the ground, not necessarily a tornado. But, okay, so this is the latest scan. Again, the good news is that's broadened out some more. So hopefully that means it's on a weakening trend. Won't know for sure until another couple of scans. Hey, Nicole, I've had the weather issues since one hit our house sophomore year. Yeah, I know. I remember that. That's a while back. Yes, in December. I do. Yes, you're right. It was in December. It was crazy. Of course, probably, unfortunately, the biggest December tornado was 2015 in Rowlett, Garland. Jessica, your phone's gone off twice so far. Yeah, they have. So in case, I'm sure most people know this now, but when they issued the initial tornado warning, hopefully you all have your phone set on to get these alerts. Number one, and every time they update, they had the initial warning, so you'll get a sound on your phone then, and then you'll when they update the warning, which they've updated it once on here, then you'll get another tone. And as long as that tornado warning is in effect, then you'll get that tone. So that's probably why it's gone off again. All right, so little tighter there. Again, nothing. It hasn't seemed to be any tighter than it has been. Let's see. All right. So I noticed they just extended the tornado watch until 11 p.m. for Collin and Denton County, which makes a lot of sense since there's a tornado warning. But that's the watch is not really a concern right now. It's the warning, of course. And all right, so let's put the reflectivity back on here. And if you have questions, let me know. You can put them in the chat. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Hey, Kelly. Hopefully no big damage for anyone tonight. Yes, I agree. Hopefully no big damage. Kelly watching us on YouTube. Thank you for that, Kelly. So nothing. Looking at. Yeah. Okay. There is a not a great signature, that's for sure. All right. So let's see. Let's go to velocity. Okay, I think it's 957. That's the reflectivity ahead of that. Yeah, the reflectivity ahead by one scan, so hopefully that velocity will. Okay. Yeah, let's go this a little bit higher. Okay, it's really cluttered here, so it's hard to see, but again, fairly tight. Let's put some movement on this. Like I said, this is North Texas for you. This is one of those situations to where the storm is not really doing a whole lot, and then all of a sudden it wants to do this. All right, let's go back to the other velocity scan. All right, so it looks like reports. Looks like the circulation is over to Dallas North Tollway and Frisco, so that would put it, probably right at the North Dallas North Tollway and the Sam Rayburn Tollway, I would guess. Because that doesn't show it very well. And then again, this scan is probably about 2 minutes behind. Actually, it's 2 minutes behind. But again, the circulation is right there. So just for reference, this is Highway. I know it's really hard to see with all this clutter, but this is Highway 380. This is the tollway right here, and this is actually. I apologize. This is actually Sam Rayburn Tollway. So really, if you live anywhere in between, in Frisco and certainly in the western part of McKinney, if you live anywhere next or in between Highway 380 and the Sam Rayburn Tollway over to Highway 75 is what you definitely want to be careful about. The signature, let's go back there. Okay, and so probably the other thing going on is hail. And I will say, so this is that classic supercell signature. The reflectivity looks way more impressive than the velocity, which is good because, I mean, this is not good, but you want this to be more impressive than the velocity, I guess is another way to put it. And so it's something that looks very menacing, and obviously this is, get rid of this. This is the area you want to be careful about as far as if there was going to be a tornado, and I haven't seen anything that says anything's on the ground. But again, that doesn't mean could be something on the ground. It just means that we haven't seen any reports of that. I'm sure we got plenty of spotters all over it, so I'm sure that they would tell us. All right, let's look at this here. All right. Let's put this in motion here. So again, just kind of a cluster of storms, no supercell signatures. And then, all of a sudden, it just wanted to do that, which is not good. So I would imagine the pink, you're going to see some hail and Prosper. Let's look at that real quick. Yeah, definitely got some hail up there. Nothing too big yet. I hope that's going to stay that way. And ironically, go back over here. Ironically, this is what was left, believe it or not, of that supercell thunderstorm that produced at least the reports of tornadoes down near Alito. So that is crazy how that storm just has gone to nothing, which is good. All right, so let's go back to velocity. All right, so again, messy screen, but that is where the circulation is. This is at 10:02, so a little bit behind. Definitely, something to watch. We'll put this in motion again. And, of course, it's over Denton. Didn't really do a whole lot, thankfully, for those guys. Let's see here. Checking some other sources. My phone will work. All right. Let's see. So again, yeah, it's definitely not gotten any tighter, so that's good. Hoping this thing the circulation anyway just starts to fizzle out, I hope. Let's go back to reflectivity. Let's put this in motion again. Yeah, it's not looking as impressive, that's for sure. Although still impressive. All right, definitely got the hook shape to it. All right, so again, to kind of reset, if you're just joining us, this is a tornado warned storm till let's see, when was the issuance till till 10:15. Circulation is a little, let's see, the reflectivity scan is 10:05 and the velocity scan is 10:05. Definitely it's not it's definitely a little tighter, not a ton, which is good, but still definitely something to watch for. Actually, I'm going to switch this to another radar because this is just really crazy for the clutter. Let's try this. There we go. Okay, we'll try this one. This probably gives you a little bit clearer view of it. So let's do this. All right, so this is I can't draw on this one. So what we're going to do on this one is we can do 3D on this one. So let's go like this. All right. Oh, you know what? You can't see that. Okay, shoot. I guess I can't do that on this computer. All right. What I am looking at is a 3D scan, but that does no good for this. So I'll have to take that off. All right, so let's look at the base velocity here. And you can see it right here. Again, it's much like the other radar. It's just still pretty broad. Let's see. Still impressive though. All right, so let's zoom in on this a little bit. So the highways show up a little bit better on this one. So this is the Sam Rayburn Tollway. Of course, 75 is right here. 380 is this line right here. Let's put this in motion. Let's move into the east northeast. Took a little bit of jog to the east. I want to say it's taking. It's still moving east for the most part. Stop that. Okay, that's got the circulation right there. Right, let's look at this. Yeah, again, pretty. I mean, circulation is there, pretty broad though. All right, let's go back to that. All right, so let's see. When is this? So it's 10:11. This expires at 10:15. Don't know what the weather service is going to do, but they're going to extend the warning. Thinking they might, but it depends on what they think about the velocity scans. Let's see. We've got another one here. All right, so I'm going to go back to the other radar because it's a little cleaner now. Plus I can draw on it. This is actually, okay, this is an older scan. This is 10:07, but there's the circulation. But hopefully they'll update the scan here in just a second. And if you're just joining us, tornado warning for, I would say, Denton County, you're in the clear, but Western Collin County, you're not, especially the central part of the county. I would say if you're in Allen, for the most part, I think you're okay. Even though you're in the polygons, just still watch it. But the greater area of concern, and I know it's real cluttered here, but this is Dallas. The Sam Rayburn Tollway, 380, 75. Now again, they haven't updated this yet. This is 10:07. Okay, yeah, that's 10:10. Still kind of old, but there's, yeah, I doubt very seriously it's there. It's probably somewhere. Well, I get that to work. It's probably somewhere over here, if I had to guess. We don't have an updated scan yet. But if you do know anybody that, again, that lives in McKinney, the western part of McKinney for sure, northern part of Allen, Fairview, even areas north of 380 by 75, definitely just keep an eye on this. All right, so let's see. And no updates from any storm spotters or anything. All right, let's go back to reflectivity. Okay, so that's the latest scan. All right, so the Weather Service is not going to extend the tornado warning, so that's good. It's still severe warned. Keep that in mind. So you should see this red box, the polygon, come off in just a second. So that is good, and that will leave us with a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's still got hail in it and it's still got wind in it. Um, Again, this is interesting because this is what's this is what's left of that supercell that was in Aledo, southwest of Fort Worth. It's about to merge. What's left of it, I wouldn't even call it a merge, really. But yeah, don't know if it's gonna have any effect on it. Okay, let's go back to velocity. Yeah, I can see why they're not going to extend the warning because the velocity couplet is, I wouldn't call it a couplet, uh, is it hasn't done anything lately other than kind of dissipate. So that's good. So I can certainly understand why they're not going to extend the warning. But again, it's still severe warned. Uh, Hey, you're welcome, Lisa, over on YouTube. Thank you. Um, yes, I did know what you meant. Update. Yeah, it got a little more exciting than it needed to here at the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. If I know Lisa, she has been watching the storm chasers like I have in Oklahoma and Kansas and Nebraska. They had, unfortunately for them, they had way more interesting things to look at than we did. Although we had, like I said, we had that storm down near Aledo. It was and I think there's been some reports of damage out that way. Um, so let's see what we got here. All right, so I don't think I missed anything on the comments. Just text YouTube, Facebook. We seem to be okay. Oh, thank you, Kara. I was just about to do that before I wrapped up. So Kara asked about the time frame for tomorrow. So since this tornado warning is not going to be extended, let's talk about that real quick. All right, so this is what was the tornado watch that was in effect until 10 p.m. It's all been expired except that they did extend it in Collin County until 11 for obvious reasons. So tonight we're probably good. Tomorrow, well, before I talk about that, this is the severe weather probabilities, but we're pretty much done for that in the Metroplex, although I will talk about overnight in a second. This is tornado outlook, the severe hail outlook, which west of us, and the wind outlook. Okay, so here's tomorrow. So this is something that, tomorrow is going to be another one of those days that we just got to be on alert for. We had that, well, really starting a little bit on Thursday, but really starting on Friday, we had kind of a hit or miss day. Most of us missed. Yesterday was the same thing. Hit or miss. Most of us missed yesterday, thankfully. Today, I would, more of us were involved than the last few days, although most of us missed, which is good. Tomorrow, more of the same. It's going to be hit or miss. We may have more hits than misses tomorrow in a general sense. So this is the severe weather outlook for tomorrow, and you have an enhanced risk from the Metroplex North. And you have that because of the tornado outlook. And again, from DFW North, the yellow is 15% hatched, which is the chance of a significant tornado, EF2 or greater. As you can tell, most of that's going to be up in Oklahoma and Kansas, but it does creep down into North Texas, so that's something we have to watch out for tomorrow. The severe hail outlook, same thing. 30% chance, 2 inches in diameter or greater. Within 10% chance of that happening within 25 miles of your house. Something we're going to watch for. Not everybody's going to see it, but some will, unfortunately. And the severe wind outlook, again, winds that gust more than 70 miles an hour. So, Kara asked about timing. So, tomorrow is an interesting day because we do have some potential for severe weather in the morning. And I don't think it's going to be a great coverage of that, but it is something that we have to watch out for. So, that's between 5 and 10 a.m. Not the greatest, obviously, because that's morning rush hour. That's still got one more week of school for most of us, so that's something that we definitely have to watch out for. But could see some coverage tomorrow morning. I don't think it'd be great coverage, but if the coverage, well, before I talk about that, and then we have another chance in the afternoon, from 3 to 11. However, if the coverage is more than we expect in the morning, that will definitely affect what happens in the afternoon. And the converse is true too. If nothing happens in the morning, that does probably give us a better chance of seeing severe weather in the afternoon. If we have more activity in the morning than we thought, then we're going to have less in the afternoon. So your guess is as good as anybody's. But the bottom line for tomorrow is that whether it's the morning or afternoon or both, just be on the alert. And of course, we'll talk about it more in the morning. So that's tomorrow, and just for grins, the rest of the week, we'll have a break, Tuesday, Wednesday, starting back on Thursday, Friday. Small chances right now. Most of it would be west, so that's kind of that graphic kind of shows that. Yeah, Andrew, you want to see your mom? Yeah, tomorrow it depends. I think your best chance is midday. But after 11 a.m. before 3, if you want to do that, that's when I would do that. And tell your mom I said hello. All right, so let's go back to the radar before we wrap it up. So the good news is that's the velocity. Not much there, which is good. So I would say if you live in McKinney, if you live in Princeton, unless it's like it really ramps back up, you're probably okay. But let's go back to the reflectivity so you can kind of see a better idea. So let's put this in motion. Yeah, I will say this. If you live east of Highway 75, Princeton, Farmersville, Blue Ridge, Melissa, Anna, don't completely let your guard down. But as you can tell, this storm is not as impressive as it was before, especially to the last couple of scans. But again, it's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on until the structure is still super cellular. And so I think that's something that that's why you can't completely let your guard down about that. But it's something that you just want to keep your eye on it. And let's put the stop this here. Okay, so let's zoom out here a little bit. Of course, while I've been talking, I just wanted to make sure nothing came up from behind. Nicole, all of this gone by Thursday or Friday? Well, yes, for the most part. Once we're gonna have cold front. We're gonna have a cool front come through Tuesday morning probably, and that's gonna end all thunderstorm chances for the rest of the day, Tuesday and Wednesday, and probably even into the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend. However, as that one graph showed, isolated chance for storms on Thursday, isolated chance on Friday. And then the weekend may be okay, but then toward the end of the weekend, Sunday, Monday, we could see our storm chances return. So basically, to answer your question, yes. Well, they just reissued a tornado warning. My goodness. All right, so let's go back to that. All right, let's see. All right, so the rotation looks like it's strengthened again. Yeah, so it's about 2 minutes old. So yeah, I can see why they reissued the tornado warning, and that is until 11 o'clock. All right, so the polygon has not shown up on this radar scan yet, but it will. All right, so the latest storm spotter report shows broad rotation, maybe a little bit of lowering south of Virginia Parkway between Custer and Stonebridge and McKinney. So it's like Melissa activated their sirens. So Definitely something to watch for. There it is. Okay, so it's radar indicated, nothing on the ground, but the tornado quarter size hail moving east at 15 miles an hour. So it's not moving that fast, but it's still moving at an okay clip, I guess. I mean, I don't. I wish it was not there at all, to be honest. But that's what we're dealing with. Um, so I would say let's put this in motion because if you're anywhere in the polygon, definitely watch this very very closely. I would say if you are certainly live anywhere on either side of 380 in McKinney, definitely watch it. Um, yeah, it's like the possible tornado. I say possible tornado is located near Virginia Parkway and Stone Bridge Drive in McKinney, Frisco, McKinney. All right, so because the rotation was just nothing, and then it just kind of regenerated there at the end. This is probably a 3 minute old frame, so I'll wait to get an update. I don't know if this other radar is going to show it any better. No. I think they're reissuing this severe thunderstorm warning for Collin County. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, yeah, this radar frame is still. Oh, I saw your comment earlier, Joe. Tomorrow looks scary. Tomorrow could be scary. That's for sure. Like I said, I think it's going to be something that we just definitely got to watch. Okay, just circulation is just west of McKinney, moving just north of east. Makes sense. Let's see this other radar. All right, so let's see. Thank you for the subscribe. Or thanks for subscribing, Spunky on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. All right. I don't see anything really impressive about the circulation. I know why they issued a tornado warning, but I'm not terribly concerned with it unless it really ramps up. And again, I'm going to put this in motion and kind of give you an idea, which is good because I think this is really a menacing storm there, and then it starts to lose some of it. It ramps up a little bit, but it's not overly impressive from a circulation standpoint. That's something you want to take seriously, though. That's for sure. Yeah. Okay, so we'll stop. All right, so unless something really gets crazy, go ahead and sign off here. So the bottom line is this: if you live anywhere north of 380 in the polygon here, just watch it, especially if you live or know someone kind of in this corridor right here. 380 is right here, so this is, I know this is messy, Princeton Farmer, so I think you're going to be okay. It's going to stay north of you. But something you definitely watch. Kara, do you have Main Street sits near McKinney? I do. So the latest report is, I just saw it. Where'd it go? Okay, so Stonebridge and Stonebridge Drive and Virginia Parkway was the latest one I had. That was about 5 minutes ago, though. So my guess is that it's probably around 75 in Virginia Parkway, or just north of that. Probably on 75 between Virginia Parkway and, Highway 380. This would be my guess. It's probably crossing the highway right now. I say crossing. I don't mean the tornadoes on the ground crossing the highway, but the circulation aloft is probably crossing the highway. Let's see if we can. Okay, so this is old. This is, well, it's not that old. A couple minutes, but that's the circulation. And this is 380 right here. So I would say, since it's a couple of frames old, I would say the circulation is probably west of 75 and north of 380 would be my guess. Let's see what the latest update said. Yeah, it's like 380 and McKinney. Although, let's put reflectivity back on. Again, this is a little. Again, and I always say this: the radar. This radar frame is 1030, but that's 1030 the real time. The radar is actually a couple minutes behind in real time, if that makes sense. So it's, in other words, the radar we see on through the internet is always just a little bit behind real time, like real time. So I would guess that this is probably, like right this second, this is maybe probably somewhere over here. And that would be on Highway 75 north of 380. Let's see, put velocity back on. Yeah, so a couple brighter colors, but we don't have the bright greens next to it, so that is good news. So, uh, so the Weather Service is thinking that this overall storm is going to continue to weaken, and you can kind of tell from the signature on the radar that the structure, at least from reflectivity, is not really a whole lot. Certainly not as menacing as it was, so I don't think we're going to see. I would be surprised if we saw any reports of a tornado on the ground, to be totally honest with you. Okay, you're welcome, Kara. Your friends up there in her safe space up there are great. I don't think she has a ton to worry about, but definitely for the next 10, 15 minutes, definitely have her keep an eye on things. Yes, Liz, you are welcome. Glad to keep everybody alert. That is, or up to date, I should say. So, lastly, last spotter report I got was no power flashes or anything in McKinney, so that's good. So I think the storm's going to start to wind down, and we will be done for the night. However, I will leave you with this slide again for tomorrow. Not that one. That one. So again, bottom line, most of the night will be fine, if not all the night. In the morning, we have another disturbance moving overhead. Could see some severe threats come across later, and not sure what that beep was. Anyway, so we should have some severe threats in the morning. And then in the afternoon, if we have more in the morning than we think, it could lessen the impact in the afternoon. If we have less in the morning or nothing, which is definitely a possibility, then that could increase our chances in the afternoon. So it's just, as the red area shows on this graphic, is DFW is right on the southwestern edge of all this. So another day tomorrow, 3-4 days in a row. All right. You're welcome, Michael. Thank you. Appreciate that. And with that, I'm about to sign off. And most of us, if not all of us, in the Metroplex in North Texas should be fine. And then, oh, okay. My daughter just lives in McKinney. She just sent me a really cool picture. I wish I could share this. Um, actually, I might be able to. Thank you, Emily. Let me try something real fast. I think I might could do this. Oh yeah, but I can. All right. So this, I'm going to show you this picture real quick. Oh well. All right. Let's do this. Doing this on the fly. So. Yeah, don't want that. Okay, so they're about to cancel a tornado warning, which I'm not surprised at all, to be honest. Uh, all right, so like I said, I'm doing this on the fly. Don't want that. Yeah, I think I can do this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, you're welcome, Nicole. That's pretty impressive. That's from my daughter, Emily. Thank you, Emily. She is safe. She lives in McKinney. But that is awesome. That's an awesome picture. Um, yeah. Again, you're welcome, Nicole. Thank you. Yeah. Wish I could take credit for that. Pretty awesome, Emily. Thank you. Glad you're safe. So there you go. So that's from McKinney. So really, really cool. All right. So with that, we will bid you adieu for tonight. And as always, I am watching the weather, so you don't have to. Thank you, Lisa, for that comment. Yeah, Nicole, it is. That's the thing about storms. It's they can stress us out, and they're beautiful. But they are beautiful. Um, yeah, that's my wonderful daughter. So got to brag on her a little bit. I'd be doing the same thing. I'd probably be a lot closer. Anyway, all right, you're welcome, Andrew. Okay, I'm gonna with that. I'm gonna what a nice note to sign off on. So cancel tornado warning. If you live anywhere around there, don't worry about it. You're good. You can go to bed. And but then again, we'll probably have to do this all again tomorrow. But I'll be on top of it, of course. Okay, as I was saying, as always, I'm watching weather so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great rest of your night, what's left of it, and we'll talk to you soon.